Okay, the big call, gang. I just want to let you guys know we do have special guest foot forward in again tonight to give us kind of a heads up on where we are on Saturday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. So without further ado, foot forward, please tell us what's going on out there.
Well, hello to everybody, and hope some of you are wearing green. I guess I am by chance today. I didn't even remember it was St. Patrick's Day, but I guess I just wanted to address a couple things for you guys. Yes, I'm aware of what Oki posted last night. Yes, I know why he posted it. And a lot of you are kind of sitting there asking, why isn't there a lot of additional info out there today, or why aren't a bunch of people going out of their way to confirm what he said last night? The best way I can put it is that we're looking at a 100-piece puzzle, and we only have about half the pieces at this point, and it's all the border pieces. So we're not really sure what the entire picture looks like right now. Yes, things are progressing. Yes, things are moving along. Yes, all the information has been positive. Yes, we have had rates showing up on bank screens and stuff. A lot of the stuff that's been going on the last several weeks that you've been hearing rumors about has been tests in the system, trying to make sure that they have everything set up correctly. Just trying to make sure there's no bugs or anything, because when they let this thing go, they need everything to run very smoothly. So, do I understand what Oki posted last night? Yes. And if I sound a little perplexed right now, it's just because we don't have the rest of the answers right now. I guess the best way to put it, this is kind of in its final process, and we're just waiting for this thing to kind of be over. That's why I say things are progressing at the banking level. Things are moving forward there. People have been seeing rates show up live on bank screens, but please understand, this thing is not completely done or official yet. I know a lot of people are asking, well, how can it be showing up at some banks and yet Dinar Banker is still selling? I don't claim to have all those answers, other than this thing isn't officially official yet. And I know some people are going to say, well, if this thing really is done, then you could have a bunch of people just going out and buying a bunch of additional dinar, and it would be like insider trading. This is not like insider trading. This thing is not going to be official until the banks have been told they can go. And we've kind of been in this process where they've been testing and retesting, and rates will show up and then they'll disappear, and they'll show up again and disappear, and different things going on. We've kind of been in this state for several weeks now. So you can see how, even though we are at the end, nobody has the definite timing on that. So I'd like to reiterate, I am not suggesting anybody go and buy reserves. I am not promoting any dinar sales. I am not promoting anyone going and buying any additional dinar or dong, or telling anybody, we're definitely going to be at the bank at this day or that day or whatever, because nobody knows. I just want to put that disclaimer out there. What's different about things right now? All along we have been making progress. The things have been progressing along, and we keep moving closer to what we all want, which is to be at the banks and going to cash out. There are people that have gone on deposit still. So basically they're going in their banks and they are putting their dinar on deposit. I really wouldn't advise anyone doing that, because I do think there's a chance that some of these people are getting the short end of the deal here, because if you're going and putting your dinar on deposit and you're signing an agreement to cash in at a predetermined rate, you don't know what the actual CBI rate is going to be yet. You don't know what the highest rate may be. So I would just hold off, because even if you go and put your dinar on deposit, you can't have access to your funds until after the RV is official. So that scenario scares me to death personally, and I just wouldn't do it. We're basically at the point where we're waiting for this to show up at the banks, and we're waiting to be told go. Could this show up in the next hour? Absolutely. Could we be waiting another couple days? Yeah, we could be. Could we be waiting up until the summit? Potentially. I think this will be done before the summit. But understand, guys, by design, nobody is supposed to know the exact timing of this. Nobody is supposed to know the exact place this is going to show up first. We aren't supposed to have all those kind of specifics. And I can guarantee you the people that do know those specifics aren't talking about them for a reason. This is done to protect you guys, to protect me, to protect the intel givers. There really isn't an abundance of information out there today. I know there are some people that think that myself and Studley and Dinar Wishes and several other people are idiots. Some posts out there by guys like BGG and stuff. All I can really say to that is we aren't as clueless as he makes us out to be. And I wish I could tell you guys everything that was going on right now.
Well, that's okay, Foot. Let me say this. I know you're not clueless, and I know you get good quality information from very high sources. In fact, I know that on a call we had last night that we knew this information that was put out at least an hour before Oki put it out. But we felt like we needed to wait and not try to be the first and all that. We didn't want to be the first necessarily. We wanted to have good, accurate information, and when we got enough confirmation, then we could quote unquote call it. But
yeah,
there was no reason to try to call it last night, in our opinion.
No, and there still isn't tonight, I think. I know some of you guys will be frustrated with my style, and some of you will appreciate that, how I go about things. But I had the same information that Oki had probably around the same time, if not a little before or a little after. Really, nobody cares. At the end of the day, nobody's going to care who called it first, who said what first, who had the information first. You guys don't care. All you guys want to do is go to the bank. So I could have posted that stuff. A lot of people could have posted the same information Oki posted last night, but I think a lot of people chose not to because we don't have the answers to a lot of the questions yet. We're kind of in no man's land right now because we haven't been at this stage before, and we don't know the full picture of exactly what's going on. So when Oki said last night he didn't want to answer 1,000 questions, that probably pertained to just as much as not having the answers to everything as anything. So, I mean, we are getting really good information, but in these final stages, the less that's put out there, the better. And there's not going to be a lot of great detailed information. So am I expecting us to be at the banks in the near future? Yeah, I am. I'll still stick with saying we should see this before the summit. I know you guys are seeing some rates out there like the 86 cents and $1.17. I'll just go back to my point. $1.17 is not even going to benefit Iraq. If you're talking about removing Iraq from Chapter 7 sanctions and actually having them be a player in the Middle East, they need to have a currency that's comparable to the value of Kuwait and other countries close to them Dr. Shabibi has said over and over again they will have the highest currency value in the Middle East and in the entire world. I am going to expect the rate to be high. I'm not going to talk about specific rates. Yes, I know what was put out there. I just feel it's better that we not talk about it in great detail right now. I know you guys are going to have hundreds of questions. I know there are going to be very specific questions, pertaining to stuff with the NAR banker and, how they're still selling and when can we go to the banks and, specific rates and specific dates. Guys, we don't have the answers for that. I wish I had all the answers for you guys tonight. I'd love to put everyone's mind at ease with specifics, but please understand we're not going to have specifics right away. We could have more detailed information in the next 20 minutes, but it might be a few days, might be, another week before we've really got specific information. Nobody really knows. Again, I understand that is very frustrating for people, but there is a reason for that. With all that said, I'm very content with where we are. All the information has been positive. The rate is definitely going to be higher than $1.17 or 86 cents. And we are going to be quite happy once we are at the banks. I would encourage most people, when we're talking about going to the banks, don't be the first person at the bank. At least wait a day or two, see how some stuff shakes out, see, some experience some other people are having. I just wouldn't be the first one to the bank.
Hey, Foot,
yeah.
Mentioning that, can you speak in very general terms about the bank packages and why people should wait to see those?
You have to understand the bank packages that are being put together by people who have a much greater understanding of the banking world and how wealthy clients are treated. Banking is not my area of expertise. Real estate is my area of expertise, so that's why I'm not negotiating bank packages. And I will try and put something together for Canadians, but understand that that's not a guarantee at this point. I'm just going to see what I can do after the RV. But you have people like Freeway, like Johnny, like Studley, and other people out there who really understand the banking world. I mean, if you guys knew the backgrounds that some of these guys have, they understand banking, they understand money, they understand the type of perks that are available. I mean, most of us are used to being, just somebody who's living paycheck to paycheck. So we don't experience any of these perks that rich people get. We don't experience the kind of treatment that rich people get. And really, the tables turn when you actually have money because the banks need you worse than you need the banks. And I know that's going to be a whole different mindset for a lot of people, but you have to understand that you're doing the banks a favor, not the other way around. So these bank packages are being put together more or less so that people aren't getting screwed over, so that people have a general idea of what you should expect from your bank, the kind of perks, hopefully the kind of rates that are being offered out there. I know some people were trying to hopefully get higher rates, with the bank packages and stuff. So there's going to be a lot of perks out there. Again, you kind of have to figure out your own comfort level. If it was me, for myself personally, I'm going to wait for the bank packages to come out and see what all is involved in there. You really shouldn't be waiting long. But if it's going to cause you to lose sleep, when you see the rate and you're concerned that the rate might not last long, you need to go cash out, by all means, go cash out. Don't stress yourself any more than you need to be. Don't go, causing yourself to lose sleep and everything else. But if you can wait, I would encourage you to wait for the bank packages to come out. even just to use as a guideline when you're negotiating with your bank. Because, for individuals, that really gives you the power of being involved with the group without having to cash in with the group, if that makes sense. So with these bank packages, you're getting the perks as if you were going in and cashing in with a large group with a lot of dinar. So I think that'll be very worthwhile. Again, for some people, cashing in with the dealer will be ideal for you. For other people, going and cashing in at a currency counter at an airport or, some local currency exchanger, that'll be ideal for you. I'm not saying one size fits all. Please understand that. We're not going to have packages for currency exchangers and things like that. But there again, you could use the bank packages kind of as a guideline. A lot of this stuff won't pertain to Dinar Banker because you're not going to be having a bank account with Dinar Banker. So, a lot of the perks and stuff don't pertain to them. But again, if we help each other out, share stories, kind of help each other with guidelines and stuff, everyone should be okay cashing out.
Sounds great to me. I think that's good advice. I think you can just feel based on your comfort level whether you want to pursue it in one direction or another. There's definitely some good information that will come out from at least 5 or 6 different sources. And the one benefit you have on the Big Call is we've got the Big Call website, thebigcall.net, and Gil will post whatever information we can glean from the different intel guys and the different guys putting the bank packages together, and we'll try to put those up under our banking tab on our website. So you'll be able to go and kind of look and compare and go, oh, okay. And even if you don't have one of those particular banks in your area or one that you want to necessarily work with, you could take that same information and go to a regional bank that might have banks in 2 or 3 or 4 states. I wouldn't go to a small town private bank necessarily with it, but you could go to some places that do deal in foreign currency and probably just say, hey, this is the deal that I've got with this Big Four bank, and this is the deal that's available to me through this Big Four bank. Are you guys able to meet or beat any of these things?
Yeah,
so,
exactly. You guys will be able to use that at any bank.
Yep.
Should be. So, I guess I'll probably owe Gil an apology by the time this is all done because I feel I've kind of involuntarily turned him into a full-time web guy. All the information we're going to have to get him to put up on the website. And, understand, guys, we are going to try and help you as best we can. I don't want to be a personal advisor for people. I don't want to be telling everybody, exactly what they should be. I don't want that liability, but maybe we need to talk to the team about this, but, maybe for an hour or two after the RV, after I've cashed out and after we've heard some experiences and stuff, maybe I can come on for an hour or two every night, answer some questions about cash outs, about specifics, try and make life easier for some people if I can. Maybe we can do something like that. But
let's see how that goes. We may just put you to work a little bit around here. That would be cool. I think the main thing we need to do is try to be. We're an information site, and like Foote said, we're not here to necessarily give any advice. Certainly not legal advice or financial advice. You guys know that. But we can tell you what we have done or what we plan to do, our opinions about things. And that way you can take the information that you want, glean from us what you think is important for you, and then take it and run with it in that direction. So I think it's a good time we're in, guys. I think right now that we just stay like we've been. We stay patient. We keep reading. We listen, and we glean the truth out of everything that we read, pray about it, and praise God, we're in a really good place right now, and this whole ride, I think, is slowing down and getting ready to come to a complete and abrupt stop.
Yep.
So hopefully within hours to a couple of days, we should be able to move about the cabin freely and be able to go to the bank of our choice or the exchanger of our choice.
Yeah, and like just so you guys understand too, I think most of you guys get this, but like I don't care about being the first one to share information. The main reason I didn't say anything last night was because we didn't have a lot of additional information other than the rate was showing at some banks. That's about it. We didn't have much more to go on, and truthfully tonight we don't have a lot more to go on beyond that. The only reason I'm really on the call tonight is because Oki came out and said what he did, and I wanted to try and kind of answer some of those questions, but I guess to just let you guys know, we are on top of this stuff, and we're just kind of waiting to find out more information of exactly where we're at. Again, I do believe we are at the end of this. You guys know I've believed that for quite a while. I do believe that the final touches are being taken care of, but we don't have a lot of particulars at this time, and we probably won't until we actually get the final okay to go to the bank. So, Freeway hasn't abandoned you, Johnny hasn't abandoned you, I certainly won't abandon you, but just know we'll share the information as it becomes available or as it's okay to put out. But at this point, not a lot to really put out there.
Yep, just kind of explaining what we do know and what we think we know, and that's good. I think that's great, and we've come a lot farther with this, you guys, than we ever have in the past. This is a new arena that we're in. We're definitely in new territory with this. We know that. And even though some say, oh, we've been there before and blah, 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 not really. This is a new territory for us. And so, we're going to expand our tent pegs and take on some new territory with this, I think, pretty soon. So be prepared. This is a good time of continued preparation, not only in thought and prayer in terms of what you see yourself doing with this blessing, but just physically putting one foot in front of the other, and just try to say, okay, now what do I do? What is my next move? Some of you guys haven't thought about that enough. You've thought about it loosely, but now you need to kind of write some things down. If you don't have your steps in mind, your 10 or 20 or 30 different things that you want to get done, make a list, and say, okay, now let's say this rate is real, and the next opportunity is going to be to go and exchange. How do I want to go about that? What are the banks that I may want to use? Now, I know some of that's going to be dependent on the bank package information that comes out. I understand that. But, get a plan going. If you've got a small group that you want to travel with, if you need to travel to a bank, keep that in mind. If you're going to go solo, don't go anywhere by yourself with all this. Make sure you got at least one or two people to travel with. And you got to, even if you're going downtown to in your own town to exchange, have some security about you. Have a sense of security and a sense of safety, and you can party in the Caribbean or on the cruise ship. This is a time to be sober. Be sober in thought, and for God's sake, don't be driving with any alcohol or any reefer or any of that craziness. Make sure that you're level-headed and sharp, and stay with the speed limit. Don't exceed it. You don't have to go 5 or 10 below it, but just stay right on it, set the cruise, and enjoy the ride.
Yeah. No, I would completely agree with everything Bruce just said. You guys do really need to be ready for when this hits, and don't go running down the street naked in celebration. Don't draw that kind of attention to yourself. As Bruce said, go to the Caribbean, go somewhere else to go party. You don't want to give any hints, that you've come into money suddenly or anything like that, because believe me, you do not want that type of attention. It's only going to cause problems, and a lot of problems. As the information becomes available again, we will share that as it comes. I may be the last person to call and confirm this, but I'd rather be the last one and be really sure than to prematurely say something, mess something up, get people's hopes up. I'm encouraged with where we're at. Don't get me wrong. I do believe we're at the end of this. I don't know for sure when we're going to be at the banks. Should be fairly shortly. Before I'm looking again before the end of the summit. But just really trying to remain positive. And I know a lot of you guys are, kind of tired of hearing the whole "we're there" thing. Even if you, are tired of people saying that and hearing that, just try and have a positive attitude with where we're at right now, because we are about to receive a huge blessing. And, there's no point in being miserable and bitter about things, especially with where we're at right now.
Well, Foote, I really appreciate you spending time with us, coming in from time to time to share with us. This is an important time for us, and it's just fantastic that we do have a rapport with you and that you're able to be a very good friend to the Big Call network, if you will. And so thank you so much for coming in and sharing. I would like you to possibly come back in maybe during the Mike and Shay show toward the end of the call and, share again. Let's see if anything's happened. Let's see if we've got anything new to report, or we just need a refresher, okay?
Well, and if you guys can do this too, I'll try and make an appearance on all 3 shows tonight. But if you guys get questions that you think I can probably address, maybe write them down so when I call back, I can just kind of address any questions, concerns that have come up. Because I'm not sure there'll be any new information tonight, but that's kind of what I was hoping. When I come back, we can find out what the questions and concerns are and address them so people know that without doing a full-blown Q&A, because guys, I like answering your questions, but we need to control the questions that are put out there right now.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in terms of the list and see if there's anything I can't answer or any of the other guys here can't answer. And there probably will be things, but some of it is going to be pertinent and some not. So we'll kind of keep track of that and keep that in mind for when you come back in.
Yeah, no, that way if there is anything I can address it when I come back. So I'll be back a little later on tonight. Let Brenda and Gil know I will show up.
Okay, sure.
I might not be right at the start of their show, but I'll show up there sometime in their time slot.
Sounds good, Foote. Again, bless you. Thank you so much for coming in, making your time available, and we'll talk to you a little later.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Bruce. Thanks, Dominic.
Thanks, buddy.
Bye.